Sup with it. My name is K3. I am here with my good friend and fellow Xbox veteran Migo. Say hi, Migo.
Yo, what's up?
We are here to bring you a cast I'm very excited for from the Quarantine Cup round. This is Team frag4, all better historically known as Team Popstar, but have decided to rebrand themselves, versus Team Luckyglock, which is an amalgamation of very strong and also veteran players of this Left 4 Dead 2 PC community. And you know, I just brought up the news on my phone, and I read an article that said giant murder hornets found in my neighborhood. And so that was pretty shit to kind of wake up to. But then I realized I'm about to go and cast this amazing match between two of the top teams in our modern Left 4 Dead 2 community. And it just perked me right up. I was like, you know what? Giant murder hornets found in my neighborhood. You ain't gonna bring me down, because I've got frag4 versus Luckyglock here.
Exactly.
And hell yeah, dude. So yeah, I've been very much looking forward to this match. When I looked at the pairings for this week, I immediately drew to this one, because I mean, Team frag4 being the #1 seed in the tournament, they're definitely like a favorite to take the whole tournament. But now you've got these kind of higher seeded teams like Team Luckyglock or the 7th seed, with a lot of really strong players on their lineup that are now we're starting to get to the caliber of teams that are capable of making that kind of upset happen against them. And so I really think that we see some tight play. We could see this game go either way. What do you think, Migo?
Yeah, I think the same thing. They're both really, really strong teams, so I'm ready to see what's gonna happen.
For sure. So I'm going to do a quick roster rundown for Team frag4. We will have Dave, also known as Thanatos, also known as Soul. We have Dusty, Spongy, and Wristburner, also known as Brian. And who do we have for Team Lucky?
We have Ramirez, Nevermore, Spirit, and Avocado. No, also known as Acer.
That is correct. And so I believe that we're going to be seeing, as the others are, as I said, veteran players. We're going to be going live pretty quickly here, I believe. Probably not a lot of waiting to be happening. This is going to be a home and away server, starting on the home server for Team Luckyglock. And although it is home and away, it's kind of home server and down the road, your next door neighbor Phil's server as well. It's not really that far away. I mean, if you're looking at the pings, those are all very playable. That's like the type of, if you're looking at Team frag4's pings, those are the types of pings that some players have played to their home servers in this tournament. And then,
exactly.
I think the same is going to apply for the away server for Team Luckyglock. So we're going to see, basically, it's almost like it's just a best of 2 maps, and I don't think ping is going to take a huge effect. I mean, obviously, I'm going to take 30 ping over 110 ping any day of the week, but I don't think it's going to be such a huge game-changing factor in this game when you've got players of this caliber.
Coming live.
We are, in fact, live. We got this first hit of the game. It's going to be a Hunter Charger Jockey Splitter. Tank is set at 27%. I believe they may have removed the late tank. So I think that all the tanks in this tournament are pretty much guaranteed to have this kind of early-ish tank spawn percentage. But before that, we will be able to get a hit into this hallway with this large damage potential of the Charger Hunter Splitter combo. So what are you looking for from this hit, Migo?
I'm looking for a lot of damage.
And right as we say that, Soul getting an amazing ski out on to Nevermore. Charger going right down the hallway and just getting annihilated, and Spit has nothing to go down on top of, and that will be definitely the opposite of a lot of damage, and that is not exactly what you want to see if you are Team Luckyglock. And now the tank is up in the hands of Ramirez, and the reason that it's pretty important to get that kind of early damage is that you don't want those survivors to all be 4 punches, or you don't want the survivors to all be 5 punches rather, when you're committing into that safe room. And now all survivors sitting at 100 HP, that's exactly what's going to happen. Do have a 1 boom sack going out onto Spongy there, which is going to be nice for Ramirez to be able to kind of get closer to his commit pad. It doesn't look like he's going to go in this. I think he just wants to wait for his tri-cap. And I believe that if I'm the tank here, I think you just go straight for whoever has the guns, like no matter what path you take. And it looks like he's actually going to go straight for this. Finds the corner out onto Ellis, but drops him. Going after the guys with the guns, just trying to spread the damage. There's still a lot of horde coming. This could be really bad. Jockey's going out. This is a 2-cap landing. Charger's going to miss, though, but this is a corner out onto Nick. This is really, really fantastic damage coming out of this first tank. Still potentially a wipe coming out of here. Is going to get the rest of the secure out onto Dusty, maybe, but isn't able to find the cover punch onto Rochelle. And now this is just a ton of damage. I guess that horde was just very, very late trickling in there. What do you think?
You picked a good time to commit. Definitely agree on that. Hopefully they're going to try to go for a kill on this guy.
Yeah, I think it's going to be hard to secure the kill on the guy with the deagle. Tank is now going to have to go in here and is going to get killed off as he was AI. But that is a lot of damage. If you're looking at, survivors who are amazing at shutting down support like Team frag4, basically 3 in caps, you're very, very happy with that.
Exactly.
Chunk off the damage bonus. Yeah, it looked like that horde was coming in a little bit trickle. They were having some trouble navigating into that doorway, which allowed Ramirez to commit with a bit of the horde from the one boom, as well as the tri-cap that was up, and then, you know, the 2-cap landed. I think if that charge rate landed, it was just a straight up wipe at that point.
Yeah.
We do have one more hit here before the survivors are able to make it into the elevator. Boomer's gonna try to actually get an amazing boom, dropping in through the window. Charge and Hunter and Spit all landing in this corner. This is actually a ton of damage out onto Spongy and some decent chip out onto Nick as well. That's gonna drop their damage bonus by about 100 points. I'm really liking the special effective play from Team Luckyglock so far, getting pretty consistent damage every hit after the first shutdown that happened on the first.
Yes, sir. Really doing really good.
So what do you think you want to see from the survivor play of Team Luckyglock when they switch over to maybe avoid that kind of damage and establish some kind of lead on their home server?
I want them to shut everything down.
That is about as simplistically and accurate as you can probably put it. I mean, if you shut the stuff down, you don't allow those kind of one boom sacks to land while they're trying to get the rotation that they want. You minimize the risk going into these tank commit scenarios. So we do have the hit coming in here. Smoker Tongue is going to get nicely cut there, and actually pretty decent damage landing in the elevator, but overall not too bad. It looked like Dusty was out a little bit on his own, and the SI got some nice coverage on that. And the spits, I think they fixed like the super big spit spread in the elevator, so I don't think that was a possibility anymore. So nice capitalization, getting what they could have off of that hit. Looks like they are going to be setting up in this kind of lobby area, waiting, and Hunter's going to get nicely picked there. Church is going to land for about 10 damage. Jockey's going to get a ride into the fires. Brian barely picking him out of the fire, and that's going to be still even more of their damage bonus ticking down there. So Survivor's going to be running into the safe room here with less than 100 bonus, which if you're any team in the competitive community has ever scrimmed against Team frag4 or Pubstar or any iteration of this team in the past, you're used to seeing them walk into the safe room with like 4 greens type thing, and here they are, and they're looking worse for wear. So very nicely done by the SI side of Team Luckyglock, and I'm looking to see exactly more of that kind of thing. And they will walk into the safe room with exactly 100 bonus after the pills that they found.
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah. I don't know, any comments on the last special effective round from Team Luckyglock?
Wait, repeat that again?
I was just asking, got any comments on the special effective round? What do you think they did well?
I think they landed all their charges fit, like, except for that last one in the room. Other than that, like, that's all you have to do on this map is land all your charges. Like, that is like a big thing on this map.
Yeah, for sure. With all these corridors, if you land your hunters, your chargers, and your spitters with you're gonna basically guarantee good damage every single hit that you go. And so I'm definitely looking for Team Luckyglock to really try to shut down this first hit without taking too much damage, because with all the survivors with 100 health in that safe room area, we saw how much damage they can still do if you have good support and a good tank commit. So they're really not looking to have that kind of disaster happen to them. They want to make it to the safe room and establish some kind of lead on their home server, because if they go into Team frag4's home server without a lead, it's going to be extremely difficult with the kind of survivor play that they're capable of doing. Do see, it looks like they're trying to hit on the tank spawn itself. Maybe you get some kind of jock forward with a spit block and maybe a charge from behind or something like that. Interested to see how they decide to start this hit off. Spawns keep rotating everywhere.
Yeah.
They're juking me out probably as hard as they're juking the survivors out, but I like the patience from Team Luckyglock. And the tank is now spawned up here. Hunter going in for a wall kick. It's going to miss his wall kick, and it's going to spawn as an AI and go to the tank. There's a nice amount of free spit damage going out onto the survivors. That will be Rochelle and Ellis no longer 5 punches, so that is a decent compensation for that hit.
It's a nice take.
Yeah, I definitely think that they nailed the shutdown is what they since they were pretty far forward pushed, they had to they were forced to run through a bit of spit, otherwise they'd get caught by the tank. Tank now up in the hands of frag4. Dave, do we have worms by any chance?
Well, they have a spawn in the safe room. I guess somebody didn't stay up there.
Yeah, I think that the tank spawn was too far forward, that if you have someone sit in the safe room, then the rear potential for damage is just way too much. So I think they were forced to go forward. But that being said, I'm surprised that they left the spawn open in the back, and there looks like there is this kind of trickling horde coming in. Tank is going to commit on this. Tank in the hands of Skull rolling in here is going to get the commit punch out onto Nevermore. He has 4 punches. That will be 1 more punch, and then he will be in cap. Tank's pretty low on HP, though. Really nice there on Dusty by Ramirez. That might have actually just saved this team from the wipe, and this is no longer going to be a wipe. A couple more punches going out there onto Acer. That will not even be the down, though. That was a really, really solid shutdown by Ramirez onto Dusty's Hunter. And I believe that the jockey got shut down as well, and there just wasn't a lot for the tank to work with. Granted, Soul did still get a really solid damage, getting a good spread of damage out on with the punches and the horde. But definitely overall pretty well taken. I think it's pretty much impossible to avoid more than a down on that.
What was that, like 1 less in cap for that team?
Yeah, 1 less in cap, and then that's yeah, Team frag4 came out of that tank with 0 permanent health essentially, and
exactly.
And yeah, so definitely Team Luckyglock showing that they have the capability of absolutely running this. Oh, that Boomer Summon was extremely close to assembling right into the spit, but not quite connecting there. So again, a pretty nice shutdown. If they're able to maintain this pace and the shutdowns like they have in these last few hits, they're in pretty good shape, and they're going to be taking a lead going into map 2.
They're in pretty good shape right now.
Reloading.
Really hoping that they're able to avoid some kind of sneaky death charge, because if there's one thing that that Team frag4 I know them for on the special effects side, is finding very, very sneaky spawns and places that I wouldn't expect them to usually come from. We have this charger set up in the closet, looking for something onto Kosh. Is gonna miss though. Hunter and Spit landing onto Rochelle in the front. It's gonna be decent damage out onto Ramirez. So actually pretty solid SI hit there, even with the charger not landing there onto the survivors. But the survivors still sitting at 95% damage bonus. If they're able to keep Acer and Never from taking too much damage, and they're going to be able to make it in with this damage bonus, which is going to be very important. Kind of last-ditch effort going in here. Couple scratches going out. Oh, Taki actually landing inside the elevator, and that's actually pretty decent damage for what seemed to be basically just a set. But now with the jockey dying last, I'm not sure if they're going to get exactly what they want for the next hit. They're only going to have 1 more, or 2 more hits rather, in this bottom half of the lobby before the survivors will be walking into the safe room. But Ramirez is going to be permanently slow, as there are not pills for him at this point in time. Looks like they are just going to take these guns and position themselves in the corner. Hunter coming in here, looking for a pounce, is going to get shut down. He kind of went in by himself, it seemed like there. Charger is going to miss there. Spit has nothing to go down on. Punches landing onto Nevermore for a bit more damage, but pretty decent take. It looked like SI didn't kind of come in all together on that one. I'm not sure exactly what they were trying to play for. Maybe if they were to land the Hunter on the guy in the corner. But the survivor play from Team Luckyglock is just too solid that I think relying on those individual caps to land is going to be kind of a far cry for a lot of it. Again, just completely decimated. Smoker got nothing. Spit, once again, a common threat. Doesn't really have anything to Spit on top of. Spirit's gonna try to land the shutdown onto this jockey. Jockey's trying really hard, is going to land on Spirit for a little bit of damage, but he's not the damage bonus. And Team frag4 has done a pretty good job at mitigating the potential points that Luckyglock could make on this chapter, taking the bonus all the way down to about 200. And so the survivors will be walking in here with maybe a bit more resistance. Chargers kind of got to go now if they're going to stop the survivors from making it in right now. Charger looking for the rocket. It's gonna miss 3 bunny hops in a row and get shut down. But the hunter, it gave the hunter enough distraction to land on top of Nick and get the end cap, which is kind of funny. It's like a Charger just hopping in, misses all 3 of his bunny hops, and still manages to cause a bunch of damage. That will be the survivors walking into the safe room with a 176 health bonus, which is pretty solid. Maybe not quite what they were hoping for after their take of the tank. And only coming out of this with a 76-point lead. So, I mean, overall, definitely showing that they can play toe-to-toe with Team Frag4 and are going to be a force to be reckoned with. So I'm definitely happy with their play. Maybe not quite the lead that they were hoping for, but definitely putting the statement out there that they are here to play.
Yeah, to be honest, the first map was always rough because you have just two guns, 2 primary guns anyways.
Yeah, I think this map 2 here is when score differentials can really start to open up between teams. You've got this 33% tank, which I believe is going to spawn probably around the staircase type area. Maybe it looks like that all the SI are they're running through the map already discussing what they want to do with this stuff, strategizing. So
I think you take it back right here, right? At the 10s? I'm pretty sure.
I think so. Yeah. This can be really sketchy because if the tank has good hittable placements, then it's pretty difficult. I think what I like to see teams do is start out around like the fence, and then if the tank is successful in bringing his hittables up to that area, then you go back toward the tents. Because if the tank screws up his hittables in any way, and he has to climb over that fence with only a dumpster, then the tank is just completely dead, and the support has no real good pathing of coming in.
Yeah, I agree with that.
First hit of this map here going to be Boomer, Spitter, Hunter, and Jock. Probably just looking for some kind of wall kick off the top here. Try to get some kind of nice chip damage before the tank spawn. Boomer is going to look for an arc here. It's spawning up as kind of distraction. Climbing down the ladder is going to actually land a triple boom onto the survivors, but the Hunter just getting completely shut down. Jock has got no hope of landing on top of 3 survivors who are aware. And that will be a pretty nice take there by the survivors. Just good awareness to. They realized that they were trying to common hop on the Boomer horde when they were on the fence, and then realized that that's not. Yeah, exactly. They did not do that because of the spit.
That's pretty funny.
Reloading.
They do not have a spitter as a result of that that last hit for the next setup. So interested to see where they decide to drop this, because I think spitters are, again, like the last map, key to most of the choke points in this map. You know, you've got all these little staircases where you can get a pretty almost guaranteed charge spit, but if they do not have that in their rotation, then it becomes significantly harder to get guaranteed large amounts of damage. I'm still kind of confused where they're intending on sending this hit in. It looks like they're gonna try to go when they're going under the. This Boomer is just kind of running around everywhere, and I think this is a testament to some of the SI play that frag4 does. Is they're able to find these spawns on the fly and find a lot of good spots to come from. And that's gonna be a punch and a punch charge going out onto Nevermore for pretty decent damage. Bull's gonna get cleared pretty quickly. Hunter didn't have much, and Boomer's gonna go in here last, gonna land a nice 1 boom out on. That's a pretty decent amount of damage considering the fact that they didn't have a spitter. But I think that they were just sacking for maybe some kind of hit on the run back here. Tank will now be spawning, and this will be the survivors absolutely running back for sure.
Yeah, I think that was smart to waste the Boomer last, because they wanted the horde to come in while they're going back. They're thinking they were going back anyways.
Oh, this is actually a jockey out onto Nevermore. This is a disaster for the survivors. This is going to be a kill out onto Nevermore. The tide just turns completely out of nowhere, and it looked like they wanted to go back, and then they weren't able. They realized that with the Boomer horde they weren't able to make it work, so they turned back, and this is going to be just Nevermore completely dead with the tank still sitting at 70. Survivors need to really tighten up right now, or else this is just going to turn into a wipe.
Yeah, that was real smart to kill that Boomer last and still get a boom.
Yeah, maybe it would have been better to just take the tank spawn a little bit slower and make sure that all the Boomer Horde is dead. And that being said, we do have the hit coming in here. Hunter's going to get cleared, but that's going to be a corner out onto Coach. Charger not landing here. Smoker is going to pick up Ellis, though. He's going to get pushed into the corner now. Tank in the hands of Brian doing just work right now. That's going to be a down out onto Spirit. Still sitting at about 25% HP, looking to get to this car for cover, and now he's going to be able to sit and wait this out for a little bit longer and maybe get some more extra credit out of it. Car rolling in here. Acer barely dodging that. Boomer's not going to be able to land, though. That's going to be a shutdown onto the Boomer of Soul. But the damage is already done. Like, the jockey out onto Nevermore, the Survivor's positioning was just a little bit off. They weren't quite ready and in position. Hunter getting heated by Brian. You know, just even on the SI side, Brian just not able to stop shutting down the Hunters.
Yeah, like you said, they definitely should have took that slower so they would not get boomed like that. But I think for one being dead, I think that was a nice take from them.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, they definitely recovered after the cap onto Nevermore. But I just think that, you know, their original plan was clearly to run back and like realize, okay, maybe the tank is going to climb up, maybe he's going to get a cut off with this Horde Slum. Now we're going to transition to trying to put the tank down here with the 2 cars, which isn't necessarily a bad call, but maybe the call was just a little bit late. If they had been planning that from the beginning, as soon as they got booms, then maybe they would have had an easier time transitioning. But instead, Nevermore just kind of getting caught by himself with the jockey, and the clear was just not there in time. The tank just rolled him right on that. And as soon as he got the end cap, you know that Team frag4 is going to play for the kill.
Exactly.
They're trying to play for a lot more than a kill right here on the rest of this hit. Pull going out onto LS. The clear was, again, a little bit slow on that, and that's going to be a lot of damage onto Spirit. Tries to jump up on to the railing there, but it's a little too late. He's still jumping in the spit on the railing. So that's almost all of the damage bonus already just destroyed there. So again, a really nice hit by the SI. And now Team Luckyglock, they're no longer in, hey, let's make map 2 with a huge amount of bonus on our home server mode. They're in, let's
make it.
Exactly, they're in this let's try not to get wiped mode. And with, I think this event coming up is one of the hardest events to make it with only 3 people. I think it's actually one of the easiest events to make with 4 people, but we should have a quad cap attempt coming in here. Really nice ski going out onto Dusty again by Ramirez. Starch didn't land for a little bit. Smoker and Jockey not really having much luck there. Really nice shutdowns by the survivors, still maintaining their composure and showing that they're not going to bow down without a fight in this map too. So what would you have liked to see the survivors do to maybe not take that kill on the tank fight?
They need to not like be confused on what they need to do before that take fight happens, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I think that their game plan was solid on the start, but their switch over to their new game plan after the Boomer Horde was on the way in was just maybe honestly 2 seconds too late. And that you know, super marginal difference in decision making
all it takes is 2 seconds, man.
Yeah, exactly. Looks like the survivors rightfully getting the maximum points behind the truck there, as they realize that this event's going to be very difficult to make it with just 3 people. Do you think that they're going to try to hold up the event, or do you think they just, you know, take a hit and just go gung-ho and, you know, use Spirit to run all the way up there?
I think the smart thing for them to do is probably try to take the hit there if they throw it in, but I think what they're going to do is probably try to wait it out.
We do have a charger coming in here. It's going to get really nicely shut down. Hunter also getting skidded by the combined shotguns of Team Luckyglock. And this will be Spirit, the only remaining fast survivor, with the cola, with a hope, and going to attempt to demonstrate his basketball skills, throwing the cola into play. And it looks like the SI did not hit the shopping cart over. And because the shopping cart was not scratched out of place, this Spirit is just going to be able to walk in there, and it's going to get the drop, but that's going to be a Boomer stumbling the Jockey off. Jockey's actually going to barely get cleared, but that's going to be a really nice... This is actually really, really bad for the survivors. Now Spirit is completely by himself, and is going to get incapped down this...
I think they're going to run it.
Corridor. Yeah, they're going to have to leave him at that point. It was a nice heads-up play by Spirit, realizing, hey, the shopping cart to allow the shortcut is not scratched over, so I can get up here. but because he was the only survivor fast, it was just easy pickings for the SI to just get the jockey, and then the jockey, even though it got cleared, it gave the charger enough time to get the charge down the hallway, and that was basically all she wrote for Spirit. And now the survivors are just on a mad dash for the safe room. Jockey coming in here, looking to get the 2-cap, but it will be a shutdown onto the jockey by Acer, saving the survivor round for a little bit longer. Smoker pull and spit combination, second spit, getting the in-cap out onto Ramirez. And that's going to slow Acer's pickup down with his horde, maybe enough to get one more hit out. And the comments are not letting him get the pickup. I'm not sure if he's going to have time for this before the funds are up.
Get another hit.
Hunter throwing himself at the survivors, trying to delay the pickup, but it's not going to land. This 15 bonus, hoping a dream here for this. And that will be the 2-cap landing. They allowed the jockey to just waltz in there, and then the just distracted coach for a little bit too long. And I mean, but you've got 2 survivors up against the squadron of Team frag4, and you're just not in a good position. That will be the wipe. Very nicely recovered by Team frag4. I was talking about how their SI spawns are kind of, they're kind of always moving around, and it confuses me because most teams that I see, they're very positional. They're like, okay, I'm going to wall kick from here, and this is my game plan, and I'm going to stick to this. But Team frag4, they're always moving around their spawns, and I think that's because they're so good at thinking on the fly and finding interesting spawns and tactics, and capitalizing on them.
I definitely agree with that.
So, yeah, I think it's just a testament to how good they are at making those little adaptations, and and it just came into play there, and they were able to notice that, hey, we have an opportunity here to catch the survivors slightly off guard, and they did it, and they were able to secure the wipe off of it.
Well, that was a nice secured, that is very good attack. Spitter missed, unfortunately, on that Hunter.
Yeah, I think
it was a good hit.
Yeah, definitely. Hunter and Jockey both landing both of their secures out onto the survivors. Boomer as well. I think that there's kind of a psychological aspect that comes into play when you're playing as maybe a spitter against a team like frag4, because you're so confident that you're probably going to get shut down or picked when you're on your way in, that you might throw your spit in slightly earlier than you, and so you've kind of got this this expectation that, oh, if I just jump in here and throw this and wait for the Hunter to land and don't go for a pre-spit, I'm just gonna die instantly.
Exactly.
I think 75% of the time is probably true, so I definitely understand the reasoning there. And I mean, hey, still pretty decent damage coming into that 2-2, and they're looking for probably a little bit more. I'm interested to see if they maybe save the Boomer for the tank spawn, because if they throw the whole hit in here and there is no Boomer that lands, then the survivors would probably just be able to spawn it and run all the way back.
Easily.
We do actually have the whole hit coming in. That's a tri-cap landing out onto the survivors. Amazing pull out on the back by Nevermore out onto Soul. This is Smoker still doing damage, and that is also a 2-boom landing out onto the survivors. Really, really amazing. It's like, landing a charger in a spot like this onto a team like frag4 is no easy feat, and so very nicely done. Amazing tri-cap landing, and you may look at the scoreboard and see that's not a ton of damage, but honestly, I think you are happy if you are Team Luckyglock getting any amount of damage, just knowing that your SI is coordinated enough to make these kind of hits happen. Tank now up for Team Luckyglock in the hands of Nevermore.
Nevermore. He's definitely going to be second pass.
Got it.
Reloading.
Gigantic
Shoot it! Shoot it!
Some good damage going out by the tank right now. Two in caps by Nevermore.
So good to us down here. We gotta get you back on your feet.
Let me look at you. Thanks. We straight? See? All good.
Thanks. Reloading. Did this ever seem like a good idea? Cricket back here.
Wait, did I lag out or something? Mine's a solo cast.
Zombies got him. Hot stuff coming. Reloading.
Oh, K3 died. Unfortunate.
Reloading.
I think K3's mic went out, so I'm gonna take over till he gets back. So we have a Hunter, Charger, Jockey, and Spitter coming out for this next hit.
Reloading.
They beat my ass fair and square. Come on, this way.
I'm just gonna wall kick, get Dave. And Charger gets
Hello?
yo, what up, bro?
What?
I'm not gonna lie, you made me panic a little bit, man. I didn't
What
know
happened,
what
dude?
was going on. I don't know.
Okay, how long was I not saying anything?
For like a good five minutes, maybe. I think it happened during the tank. Yeah.
Okay, the whole tank, dude. I had some super insightful commentary about that tank.
Yeah. Yo, all in all, it was some good damage. But
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Completely agreed on that. I had a lot to say about that tank. It's a little too late. I guess I lagged out there and bad timing. But regardless, yeah, no, I'll put it out there as a quick spark. The spark notes of that tank from Nevermore. He took 1 damage of chip at the very beginning of the tank fight, but still managed to make it work. Getting the corner out, he got the corner out to Spongy. SI hit was able to, at first it looked like it wasn't going to do much, and then turned into pretty decent support, and managed to get enough damage out onto Soul as well to get the in-cap. So, I approve of the tank fight, and as well, I approve of the SI play after the tank fight. And they've done a pretty good job at mitigating the bonus potential for Team frag4.
I'm down.
Got no time for this.
Delicioso.
Thanks. How are you?
All right. Hopefully, honestly, okay. We have a attempt coming in here. That is gonna be a tri-cap landing out of the survivors. Quad cap extremely close to land, but this is a ton of damage out of the Spongy. That's gonna be all of the damage bonus completely evaporated. Survivors now only sitting with bonus on Brian and Dusty now. Looks like the SI on, unlike Team frag4, were clever in scratching down the shopping cart. But this will be Soul making the touchdown attempt onto the Cola, and he's going to land it. Spit's going down on top of him, and he's going to make it out of there. And this will be Team frag4 making their way toward the safe room. Very nicely played by them. After amazing quad cap attempt landing, the survivors were able to recover and get down into the Cola and into the shop to get the Cola.
Yeah.
I think going into the Cola is a bit too next level metagame. Yeah, it looks like the SI only gonna have one more
cap,
hit.
isn't it?
Yeah, I guess their attack order is just fucking godly or something like that. This level is going to land out onto the Charger. That's going to be easily taken out onto Ramirez by Soul, and that will be the survivors walking into the safe room with about 150 health bonus, give or take. So nicely recovered by them after a few really strong hits by the SI of Team Luckyglock. But this is a very close game so far, and I'm very happy with the play that Team Luckyglock's SI has had.
Both teams are doing very good on their Infected and Survivor. Well, Infected more like.
Yeah, I think maybe the Survivor side from both teams has a little bit something to be desired. Just not
Exactly.
quite the super tight play that we're used to seeing. Okay, so if I ever lag out or anything, so like my laptop setup currently, the other day, the plastic hinge on my laptop that I've used to game since the dawn of time, it broke off. Like the hinge that you use to actually close the thing. So
Yeah.
it's essentially my screen and the actual body of my laptop are only connected with the wires, and there's no actual physical like mechanical thing that is holding the two halves of my computer together. So I have my screen propped up against a high school yearbook and a
Oh,
blanket against my wall to make it so that the screen doesn't just fall over. So
we're
basically
making it
what I'm
work, man. We're making it
dude,
work.
yeah, I'm making it work. But what I'm saying is that essentially my computer is dog shit.
Yeah.
So and it has been for a while. So if all that happens is I miss a tank fight due to my lag out or something like that, you know what? I think I've done pretty decently, and I'm gonna have to give my laptop a pat on the back for making it through this cast. Speaking of making it work, we have this hit coming in here, charge spit landing out onto Soul, and that's gonna be pretty solid damage. I mean, granted, this is modern zone mod, and in the past, that hit would have been like 60 damage out of the soul, but still, regardless, you're pretty happy with those types of hits landing. I think it's just a testament to Luckyglock's SI play that they're just able to consistently, they landed multiple tri-caps in the last couple of hits, or in the last couple of maps, and the fact that they're just able to really reliably land these kind of coordinated hits is really showing the type of play that they're capable of.
They're a strong team. I'm glad they're keeping their name up there.
Yeah, for sure. It's especially cool to see that like a first tournament team like this are able to hold their own against a team that's been playing for multiple tournaments. And so just showing that the individual skill of each of these players on Team Luckyglock, as well as the potential chemistry that they've developed in just a couple months of scrimming before the tournament, and they're able to go toe-to-toe with a strong team. Speaking of strength, we have the tank up in the hands of Spirit for Team Luck, and the survivors are now going to be running back into this cafeteria for... Is this a cafeteria? Okay, there's a Rook
Yes,
Steakhouse,
cafeteria.
and so, yeah, I think... Yeah, right, it's the food court.
Oh,
Hell
he's
yeah.
going straight in.
Yeah. This is an interesting SI play. Charger gonna get cleared out onto Coach, but this is the shutdowns on all the SI. Maybe a corner out onto Brian. That will be. It looks like an in-cap out onto Brian. Maybe if he can get this one, not even quite. I looked like Spirit just wanted to go super gung-ho, which was maybe not the worst play, but the jockey went in for support very, very early and just got completely shut down. And then the Charger wasn't able to... He landed the charge but got cleared so quickly that he wasn't able to change any outcome of that. And I mean, nicely done by Spirit, still managing to get the corner out onto Brian, but because there was no support there to really help him out too much with it,
Just got melted.
yeah, exactly, wasn't able to get the in cap. And that's going to be a rough look because the survivors are going to just super tightly run down the rest of this chapter. Nick getting the door closed on him while he's trying to run away from the boomer is going to result in a 2-boom proxy. But still not a lot of damage coming out of that last hit, and now they are in a great position. This chapter is worth a butt ton of points, and I am looking forward to seeing the survivor play from Team frag4 trying to make it in and create some kind of larger score delta. Do have a hit coming in here. Charger's going to miss out on the survivors. Hunter got nicely skeeted again, but this is actually a ton of punches from the Charger out on the survivors. It was a quad cap attempt, so maybe not, as bad as it could have been, but still pretty solid damage coming out there. But I think what they need to do is they need to, because there's only maybe 3 more hits left that have much potential for damage out on this chapter, I think that they need to focus down Brian, because if they can take down some of that damage, it's their highest potential for getting some of their bonus off. Because right now they're sitting at a monstrous 816 bonus, and if Team frag4 walks into the safe room with this kind of bonus on their away server, it's really looking bad for Team Luckyglock.
That is totally right. Almost forgot about that, to be honest.
Yeah, totally, exactly. I mean, if this is the type of score that they're getting on their away server, you can only imagine that they're going to score just monstrous maps on their home. So, Team Luckyglock really looking to mitigate that kind of thing, and hopefully at least come out of this game with the lead. But with the 0.1 seconds shutdowns out onto the boomers, it's going to be different. Survivors rightfully just going to sit out here in the open, wait out this entirety of the horde. And then SI also rightfully electing, okay, we're not even gonna mess with this. We're not even gonna attempt to, try to get some kind of coordinated hit while all the spawns are blocked out there. We're just gonna wait for the wall kick and charge spit inside. Hopefully get some kind of damage out onto the health bonus.
They really need that damage, really bad.
Yeah, they will not have a lot of opportunities left. Survivors are just holding S, and they're gonna make it. The spit's just gonna get picked, and now this hit, without the spitter, the hit's essentially moot. There isn't really a whole lot of potential anymore. I guess the SI just weren't able. They just held S, and the SI weren't able to really catch them in time. So maybe slightly quicker on the draw than they should have been. Maybe they should have been just a tiny bit more patient on that. And that will be Team frag4 still sitting at almost 800 bonus, walking into what may or actually end up being the final hit of the map if they don't land for a lot of damage right here, right now. Oof, and after that last solid setup that didn't land, they're now going to have possibly one of the worst hits in the game as a Hunter, Smoker, Spitter, Boomer, and really nice skeet going out there by Soul. 4v4 Skeet Master himself, and that's going to be a one boom landing out as well, but this horde is so far behind that there's no hope for delaying them, and they are on a roll. It looks like they're going to make it in with this bonus unless there's some kind of, one or two staggered spawns right at the end, but I expect the survivors are just going to run straight for the safe room right now. Hunter running into the safe room is going to make it in there for some scratches, maybe. Charger actually landing out onto Rochelle there for a bit of damage. Smoker not going to land any damage, but that's going to be it. Walking into the safe room with a 660 health bonus, which is maybe not as bad as it could have been, considering how strong they took. But that is, a 1,260 point chapter on your away game. Like, okay, it's honestly, it's par for the course for a team like frag4. This is kind of what you expect from a team like them. Exactly. That being said, it's, it's still a big score. You can't beat around the bush with that.
As long as they take this tank fight very good and all the hits, it should be, about the same.
Oh yeah, like, I think that it both should and it kind of has to. Like, if Team Luckyglock takes too much damage leading into this tank fight, or God forbid, gets 3 incaps taken onto them during the tank fight, that's when the score delta and their bonus potential for this chapter is just kind of too little at that point. And they're gonna, I think this chapter is really like a must make with bonus, because the chapter 4 with SI play like we've seen so far from these teams is going to be difficult to make with any kind of considerable bonus.
I agree.
Do we have this hit coming in here? Hunter's trying to make some kind of distraction. Charger's not going to land as a result of that. Jockey landing for 6 damage, and I think a little bit of friendly fire out onto Nevermore as well, but that's pretty solid shutdown overall there. Onto the SI by team. And currently rolling, I think that I'm interested to see if they want to take a full hit or if they're going to spawn the tank up, attempting to do that right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious what they're going to do with this tank, actually.
I think that if I'm Team Luckyglock, you saw what happened when they were a little preemptive on the tank spawn last map. I think they wanted to get super patient. They want to force the SI to throw in their whole hit. Even wait out one of the horde timers if need be. Just force the SI to throw in their hit and not spawn up the tank while there is a hit up and potentially risk getting boomed or something like that. It looks like the SI are set up.
Watch out for this boom for the most part.
Oh yeah, for sure. SI are set up for the drop here. Boomer is going to drop down there. S going to get nice stuff. That is a momentary track up landing. That's actually a really strong hit landing there. The double charge got instantly cleared, but it was a double charge, and so there was 2 survivors in get up animation, while the Smoker and Hunter were just eating away at 2 of the survivors there. So even though it was a great shutdown onto the boomer, still just really strong checkup landing for pretty solid damage. And this will be the tank up for Team frag4 in the hands of Spongy. And I believe that survivors likewise will be trying to take this in the food court area and just, you know, in the same way that Team frag4 did. Sometimes all you need to kill a tank is just hold the SE and click a lot.
Ooh.
That's a really long range 1-boom landing there out onto Ramirez. I think that they will be able to kill this Horde off, though. The tank is too far away to be able to make some kind of solid commit off of that. So the Horde, they are just going to sack for a strikeout, which I believe is probably the range. So, but the survivors are very well set up for this tank commit. Looks like they've got the majority of the important spawns blocked. They don't see any super tricky spawns currently available. And this will be Spongy rolling in, looking to try to get the bonus of Team Luckyglock down a little bit more. Early hit coming in here. Rochelle's kind of separated. If the Tunner lands onto Rochelle, it's going to be a lot of damage, and that will be the cap landing out onto Rochelle. There's a ton of damage out onto Ramirez. Nevermore gets out of the corner that Spongy had onto him, and
ooh, the jukes right now.
The jukes.
Even put down the spray too.
Oh, Acer with the jukes and the spray going out, but he gets quick smoke for his troubles, and that's going to be 2 more punches landing out onto him. Actually, only 1 more. Acer, what?
Yo, my man's going crazy right now.
Acer just pulled out the Dougie out on. He needs to teach me those moves, man. Acer pulling out the dancing shoes and making Spongy whiff multiple times. But this will be a charge spit. They are clearly not happy with Acer and just want to destroy his damage bonus. And as you know, you look at the jukes that Acer had, and you can say, oh wow, they took the tank very well. But if you look at the bonus,
exactly,
they're currently sitting at less bonus. You know, that Hunter landed out onto Ramirez, who was very separated and took almost 50 damage from that. And then Nevermore barely avoiding the in-cap from the corner that he was in, and as well as a couple punches did end up landing out onto Acer with the smoker. So, and we do have a quad cap attempt here set up for this alarm hit. So yeah, I mean, the survivors are already sitting at less bonus than Team frag4 walking to the safe room with, and they haven't even started the event. So pretty grim look. I mean, still sitting at enough points where it's going to stay in contention if they can walk in with some kind of bonus like this, but it's going to be difficult. And we do have the spot cap attempt going in here. Hunter is going to land for a little bit. This is actually looking really strong. Jock is going to get a Jock out onto Nevermore for a lot of damage, and Smoker out onto Spirit in the back. It's still going to do even more damage than that. This will be 2 survivors permanently slow unless they can get pills. And
yeah, this is going to be pretty hard for Nevermore being slow as well.
Yeah, both Ramirez and Nevermore, with no pills to be found in that pill cabinet, are going to be slow going through this whole event, meaning that it's going to be very difficult to try to take these hits. And you know, if they want to hold out the hits, they're going to be bleeding out the whole time, which is a very rough look. Looks like they do want to wait for a hit here, but you know, Nevermore is just going to bleed to 1 health. Kind of getting nicely shut down though, and Treasure not really landing. Spitty's got no hope of doing really anything other than a spit block on the escalator here. So the survivors will be able to move forward here, but you know, they're looking worse for wear at this point, sitting at only 338 health bonus after that last hit. They really have to keep Spirit healthy, I think. If Spirit needs to walk in with this green health and safe room, otherwise the score delta is just going to start to get a little bit too big. Do have a Hunter set up for some sneaky wall kick up front. Jockey looking for an even sneakier climb up this pillar here. And Nevermore now down to 1 HP. He's bled down this entire event. These pre-spawns are really spooky, I'm not gonna lie. Pull going out onto Coach on the back is pretty separated. This is going to be a jockey out onto Alice for a little bit of damage. Spit's not going to be able to land because he's very far away, but Soul's going to be saving that Spitter for a potential hit up front. And, you know, the survivors, Nevermore sitting at 1 HP, and your entire team is only as fast as its slowest member, which is currently a 1 HP survivor right now. I think that they should honestly just down him right now. But maybe not right now because the hit's up, but... We do have a charge spit attempt for this room. The survivors really need to not take too much damage here. Boomer Prox is going to go out onto Nevermore there. He's just going to be a damage sponge, and he's going to get incapped in there. Charger is not going to be able to land out there. Spit's going to go down on nothing. So that is nice damage mitigation on that last hit. Just throwing Nevermore up there to be the pistol turret, or the shade turret, as some people in the community may have known it. But Survivor's only sitting at about 200 bonus at this point.
We have to get going. Come on.
Oh, that is a crown going out from Spirit onto Acer, incapping. Nicely done by the Hunter, causing chaos and confusion. And now, like last map, Survivors are in a, okay, our bonus is gone, now we just have to make it.
Yeah. Only bonus left is Spirit right now, pretty much.
Yeah, and a little bit of damage bonus, which is probably just going to be gone if this charge spit lands at all. Yeah, I think once you're slow, the difficulty of this map goes up by, I think, you know, like 7. It's really, like, if you're able... Oh, really nice speed there by Acer going out onto Brian, but that will be a charge spit, again, as I said, destroying the last of their damage bonus.
And that's going to be a damage bonus, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot you can do there if you're slow and there's a pull charge spit waiting for you at the end of a hallway. So...
Wait, what'd you say?
Oh,
oh, you crashed? Oh, okay.
Honestly, it's better that we're having the problems than the players. Just a few maps, a few games the last couple of weeks. Yeah, lots of server issues. I'm looking at maybe Southstars in particular last week with their server issues. So it's good that we're not having those happen to the players at least, and we're able to continue on. Spirit and Ramirez holding on to about 150 bonus here. They really need to walk in with this, but they're going to have one more, or maybe possibly 2 more hits to contend with. Smoker getting instantly cleared. And this will be the Survivors walking in here, but there is a quad cap attempt waiting for them at the top of this escalator. Jockey, everything is pre-spawn except for the Charger right now. Horde is now trickling in from below. That is going to be the incap going out onto Nevermore on the escalator. Ski going out onto the Hunter. Charger getting absolutely railed by the shotguns of Team Luckyglock, and Jockey is going for a despawn, and this is going to be the Smoker looking to maybe delay the pickup a little bit. He actually gets the... Oh!
That was so close, actually.
So close to pulling off Spirit. If Spirit actually got death pulled there, that would have been all of their remaining bonus just completely wiped out. Acer not putting away the dancing shoes and just electing to dance on top of the head of the Boomer and taking the one boom. Like, Jockey is looking for something here. He's going to get shut down. Ramirez takes a bit of a swim through the spit for some solid damage there. And they need to watch out because Acer is at 3 HP black and white. He's trying to make it into the safe room here. He's going to get the shutdown onto the Hunter, who found a really sneaky spawn. Tried to get the kill out onto Acer, but not connecting there. Don't get stumbled. Oh my god. Acer playing with death there. Flirting with his demise.
Yeah, Acer definitely went crazy on that round.
I think, yeah, Acer just tried to put the limits of his dancing shoes to the test. And barely making it through multiple of the situations. But Survivors did a good job of making the safe room, but I think that this is that map was a masterclass on the importance of staying fast in a high scoring map. You know, like, there's so many little tiny choke points in Dead Center Map 3 that if you are not fast, you have to walk through every single one of them. But if you are fast, you're able to run through so many of the hits that have a lot of damage potential. And then all of a sudden the SI are scrambling for finding those solid spots to attack you on. And, you know, if you're not bleeding out, you can just wait out the events like we saw Team frag4 did, and they were just in a really strong position. And as you saw, they made it in with essentially 700 bonus. And now we're sitting at an 800 point differential. That's all of the map distance for this scavenge finale. And this is on, as we mentioned before, Team frag4's away server. So we need to see some really top-notch
effective play and survivor play, to be honest, both.
Yeah, they need. I think that they need to close this score gap by at least a little bit. Otherwise, then you start to get into the okay, do we want to play our away server, because this is just it's very difficult at that point.
I really hope they do, because you never know. Like, I've been seeing them play like a lot of EU mixes lately, so they could be getting used to that EU, type ping. So.
Oh
Never
yeah,
know.
and I mean, if they're gonna be sitting at orange ping, like it's extremely playable and something that I'm sure they're all very familiar with playing multiple times. And with the game as kind of wonky as Left 4 Dead, there's so many weird chance factors that could come into play. All it takes is one boom and a car landing or something like that, and then all of a sudden you can make a chapter with huge bonus. And there's the entirety of last campaign. Every single mistake that you had last campaign is erased with one map, essentially. So, when you have anything that can happen like that, I do hope that they play it out if they are losing going into their away game.
Exactly. So it goes both ways.
Yeah, and I mean, I remember seeing a few of the matches last week, and there were honestly some teams that I saw legitimately play better on their away server, which was, it's interesting to see. I think sometimes when you're playing on higher ping, you kind of mentally get put in a spot where you feel like you are obligated to play tighter, Survivor and stuff like that. And speaking of tight play, to have this hit coming in here is going to spread into the elevator pretty solidly. Nice spit aiming there, getting some decent damage out onto the survivors. And last tank of, or potentially the last tank up for Team Luckyglock on their home server in the hands of Acer. He's trying to punch these gas cans and is not having a lot of success at it. Looks like he put all of his dancing energy into last map survivor round and was not able to dance the cans into an unobtainable spot. That's a nice tri-boom landing out onto the survivors, but I don't think it's going to do a whole lot as the rest of the SI hit is dead. So what do you want to see from this tank fight?
I want to see a wipe. I'm probably not going to get a wipe, but I want to see one. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what do you think the SI have to do if they do want to get that wipe?
I think they need a boom, to be honest. If anything.
For sure. Yeah, I think that they need to land a boomer on the tank commit. They need to have a good pathing, because as you see, every single time that the tank switches sides here, the survivors just go to the opposite side of it and look for chip. And this is Acer sitting at second pass, already down a
Fall rock.
He times the ball rock, but he's already down to about 50% health. Hunter landing out onto LS. This is a separation if they're able to get the cover. Charger not able to get the cover onto that, but this is still solid damage coming out here. Acer throwing a rock here, looking for some last ditch effort. Is going to land the rock out onto LS, maybe a punch, and is actually going to secure the down on the Spongy. So nicely done by the SI there, recovering what looked like it wasn't going to get a lot of damage, but they split the survivors nicely 2 and 2, and then the Hunter initiation there onto Spongy was able to enable the rest of the SI to get there, get the damage that they could, and at least get an in-cap out, which is honestly, an in-cap is pretty difficult to even get by itself out here.
That jockey was really close to the cover on that Hunter, but unfortunately it was like a second too late.
Yeah, if the jockey had landed with that cover onto Rochelle, then it honestly could have turned into potential wipe scenario. Do have the first pause of the game coming out here, only lasting for about 10 seconds, which I'm very impressed with.
Yeah, that was the first pause of the game, isn't it? Of the match.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, not my first pause of the game, because I had a mental pause during the map 2's tank fight where apparently I was lagged out.
Yeah.
But do have the survivors carrying the cans of the third floor over there. It's actually 6 cans on the third floor. So if the spitter is able to get some kind of burn on the bottom floor on these cans, that is a lot of time wasted. So and one interesting thing about this second tank is that it is on a timer, I think partially based off of the common that get killed. So if you land a boomer on the survivors, it actually delays the timer. So I sometimes question, is it worth it to land those 1 booms on the survivors? What is definitely worth it is landing these burns. There is going to be a can that is going to get burned on the top, and you just need to save the rest of these cans. And this is actually really strong SI play coming out here by Team Luckyglock. They got the secures on the survivors and put the spit down on top of the cans where they were forced to not clear the smoker, because otherwise all the cans just would have been burned by the fire spreading. So as a result, there are a ton of damage going out onto the survivors on that last hit. Very strong play there.
Yeah.
And as I said, with this last burn now there is 3 cans up on the 3rd floor. So
he still has
that
the
whole
spitter too.
yeah, exactly. That whole effort from the survivors on their first push up to the 3rd floor only resulted in 3 cans. Now the survivors setting up here, throwing these cans down here. Hunter looking for something up here, is going to land for some solid damage up top. Tank up in the hands of Spirit here for Team Luckyglock. And survivors are currently just going to keep pouring these cans, I think. Yeah, survivors actually have accumulated every single can from the 2nd floor, and there's no hope right now for the SI to stop them from getting these cans. Brian looking like he's on adrenaline, just pouring can after can after
That's
can.
what I'm saying.
Oh my god. Brian getting the guzzle on with the car. That probably could have been worded better, but
That's better.
No, I got it. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, man.
This being said, though, Tank in the hands of Spirit is going in here. Is a nice 1 boom landing out on
that's a
to
2
Nick.
boom.
Actually, make that a 2 boom. Jockey getting shut down there, and this is going to be potentially a corner out onto Soul. He is going to be able to get maybe the down if he gets there in time, but no, the Soul gets punched a little too far. Decent damage coming out of that tank, and now the survivors once again are all fast and are just going to go straight for these top 3 cans. Honestly, I'm not even sure if you're going to send all 4 survivors up there. And it looks like, yeah, Soul is just going to maybe stay on the bottom here. No, now he's going to decide to make his way up the stairs. So the survivors looking to get these last 3 pours in. There is a separation out onto Alice, but the Charger's not going to be able to capitalize off of that. Last opportunity for any kind of play is going to be maybe a burn or something if the SI can get it. The survivors are just rolling, though. They have all 3 cans, and they're just carrying them. They're not even going to risk any burns. Spit going down on the car, but the Spitter is dead. There will be no burns. Hunter getting skeeted by Soul once again. Boomer getting shut down, and this will be the pours. Survivors are going to be walking into the car finale. Sharky getting a bit of last-ditch effort damage, but this will be a 460 health bonus for the finale. Very nicely played by them. Just scavenge speed.
Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
And you just saw during the tank fight, like, the tank had no support, and like they just got, I think it was something like 7 can pours while the tank was just staring at them with no hope of doing. I mean, if you throw in the tank there, if you throw in the tank, then the tank just gets absolutely railed with no hope. But I mean, the tank was able to get a corner out onto Soul and almost a down onto him, so probably worth the damage, but still very nicely done. Just putting the SI of Team Luckyglock in a difficult situation where they had to choose to either commit the tank and maybe play for the burns of all those cans, or otherwise they are going to just as you saw them do, just pour all those cans in, and then after that 2nd tank died, only 3 pours left until they were able to make the safe room.
Yeah, pretty much we're gonna have to see that same gameplay, but better.
Yeah, for sure. I think that Team frag4's game plan was pretty faultless there on that last round. It's just maybe a couple of shutdowns could have made the difference between them making the bonus that they did of 460 and, you know, potentially making something more like 800. And I think that's what we're going to need to see from Team Luckyglock right now, because currently staring down a 2,000 point differential. They're going to burn these 2 cans just for, I guess, swag points. But yeah, we need to see basically perfect survivor play from Team Luckyglock. I think that they really need to avoid taking any downs on this first tank, because otherwise the damage potential on the damage bonus starts to get too much, where your potential bonus for the map is going to start going down very rapidly.
Yeah. This is like an easy tank fight though, so like...
In theory, but we've seen some quote-unquote easy tank fights in this game go pretty sourly for both teams. And we do have the tank in the hands of Dusty for Team frag4. Dusty having more luck with the can punches than Acer did. Acer looking for some kind of chip up here. Is gonna find. They're playing extremely aggressive. This is. Oh my god!
Yo, I'm liking this. I'm liking this right now.
What is this? What is? They're going all in. They're playing a high risk, high reward right now, as Tib would say it. And this is gonna be it's not gonna pay off though, maybe, or maybe it will. It's gonna be a hole going out. It's gonna be a ledge cap out on the Spirit. Dusty sitting at very little HP though. Rock going on the Acer. No way.
That's unfortunate.
That's gonna be an almost death punch landing onto Acer. Dusty is still sitting at about 200 HP left. And Spirit's health is just declining quickly. They need to pick him up quickly before the rest of his permanent health goes down. Rocket's going to try to land out, but is going to get killed off there. They're gonna have to go to some weird pathing to even pick up Acer there. Like, how do they even get to him?
I don't think they can, to be honest. Unless you can get on top of that little platform right there, I don't think they can get him.
Yeah, I think Acer dancing a little bit too closely to the tank there. Got what I thought was, honestly, I thought it was going to be a death punch, and Acer's honestly pretty lucky to not be completely dead right now.
Yeah,
but honestly, this could still turn into almost turn into a wipe up top if they just 2-cap the Survivors, and Survivors already setting at, you know, not a ton of bonus. And
they're plotting right now.
So they are going to get the pickup onto Acer, but is Acer going to be able to make it back over from this weird little ledge? Is he going to...
Oh my god.
Oh my god. And a 10,000 IQ play by the SI, stumbling Acer off for about 30 fall damage.
That was 30 damage.
Yeah, and now there's bonus is already sitting at 740. And they are only just now gotten their first 4. They took the tank fight on the 3rd floor, but if you notice, all 6 cans are still in place on the. They didn't get a single one of those cans from up there.
Oh,
That was
yeah.
It was and that's a burn from the 2nd floor as well. And Dusty just sitting with this spitter up top, waiting for these burns. This is looking really, really bad for the Survivors. 25 attempt coming in here. It is going to land out onto Nick, who is damage bonus, and Acer tanking once again the brunt of the damage, but is sitting like a god on top of this little tiny spike. Spongy looking for maybe a second DP in the same hunter. Is going to go in here. He's looking for that second 25. Ken are going to get saved by Ramirez there, but they've only got 3 cans and they're already sitting at less bonus than Team frag4 walked into the save room with. They haven't even fought the second tank, and now Acer and looks like Nevermore are going to be going up for the cans on the 3rd floor. It's going to be not quite a burn on the bottom, dude. Oh, it's so hard to cast when there's split 2-2 like this. There's way too much going on at the same time. I wanted to talk about the tank and the way that they played it, but I can't because there's too much happening. Port going in there. Jockey's going to land out for a bit of damage onto Nevermore. Burn attempt once again by Dusty, just trying to
saving these cans right now.
They're doing a good job. Yeah, Dusty is getting the splits onto the cans, but they're not getting. They've realized they cannot afford any more burns. They're just throwing these cans in one by one. They have left actually 2 cans on the 3rd floor that they will not be able to get unless they go back up top. They finally kill Dusty's spitter there. It's about time. Dusty playing for so many burns and pulling out here onto Acer.
He is.
I think
no,
so.
He's not.
Honestly, I don't think you have to, because there's still 2 cans up top, and they're all bleeding, and they're sitting at only 240 bonus. I think that they just have to play for the pores. I think that they just have, yeah.
They're about to just go for the cans. I'm pretty sure they're gonna chase the tank or try. That's what it looks
otherwise they're just gonna bleed out the whole way.
Yeah.
Dusty now going to elect to commit here. Survivors in a pretty compromised position. They need to do something quickly if they're not going to get wiped by this tank from Dusty.
They're still going for the cans.
They missed the can though. They left the can up top. This is really bad. That's gonna be an 8-cap punch going out on the Spirit. Dusty's still sitting at 66% HP. Is gonna find the in-cap out onto Nevermore. They are gonna find the pickup, but they're so split right now. This has been the most difficult map to cast of my entire casting career. Just because there's way too much happening. My throat is honestly so sore right now.
Yeah, it's crazy right now.
Keep up with this. This is going to be a separation hunter landing out into Nevermore, and he's going to get in-capped and go black and white before they are able to get the clear onto him. Tank now currently sitting in the fire from that 2nd floor can. Acer is going for this top floor can, but the Charger's waiting for him. Charger's going to try to find his Charger is going to find the cap onto Acer separated. There's no hope of getting to him before he gets in cap once more. And yeah, there's not much to be done here. This is just a wipe.
Yeah, that's a wipe.
Oh, Dusty whipping the punch, but manages to get it out onto Rochelle, and that will be the pull. Yeah, that will be it. That will be the GG coming out here. Team frag4 coming out of their away server with a 1,323 point lead. Very, very solid play from them. And
wait, are they gonna do a away game or?
I'm not sure.
How's it going?
We do see them saying GG and not good half, so it's hard to say, but I hope that we see more because that was extremely entertaining. Yeah, so very interesting play by the survivors to push the tank completely while the hit was down. They basically shut down the hit entirely, and we're like, you know what, we cannot afford to play the long game and try to, maybe get only one in cap on this tank fight. If we push him now, maybe we can just completely kill the tank before the support's able to do anything. And then we'll be on the third floor, we'll be in position to get the 6 cans that are up top. And I think it was an interesting concept, but honestly, it would have completely worked if they managed to get the shutdowns on the SI. But the jockey came in, got the stumble out onto 2 of the survivors, then was able to get the ledge cap onto, I believe it was Ellis, and then he was just left hanging there, wasn't able to help out with the tank fight at all. At that point, it was just panic mode, and Acer stood up on the ledge trying to get away from the tank and got almost death punched off the edge, but turned into an in-cap there. And from there, it was just too much chaos.
Yeah, I still think one person, at least one person, should have been watching the back, because that jockey stumbled 2 people and got that tank of stumble. I think one person should have been watching back, just one.
Yeah, for sure. And
especially when they call out for rushing that tank as well.
Yeah, and I have gotten confirmation that they called a full GG. That will be no EU game to be played here. There'll be Team frag4 with a 1,300 point lead, taking the win on their away server and securing the victory for this round. We'll be moving up to 3-0. Team Luckyglock, of course, showing some really strong play from their SI side, really showing that they have the ability to go toe-to-toe with a team like frag4, but just a couple of errors on the survivor side, just not quite allowing them to make enough points to force that second game.
Yeah.
But showing that they are definitely a team that is, I think, pretty much guaranteed to make it. I
fucking love that team.
They're awesome. I think that they're pretty much guaranteed to make it into the playoff bracket, and showing that if this is the amount of play, the level of play that they're capable of making after only scrimming for this long and having far less time to develop chemistry than Team frag4 has over their long career, I think that they've got a ton of potential as a team, and we're going to be seeing a lot more of them.
Exactly. Well, K3, it was nice co-casting with you. Man. Pleasure.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it was definitely a lot of fun. Very glad I got to see that game in all of its glory. And thank you very much to Vanille for streaming this game, and thank you for everyone who tuned in. And there, I believe, are 2 or 3 more matches to be played on the Saturday, so keep your eyes peeled. Tune into cedapug.com, where there is a list of active Left 4 Dead 2 streams, and if you keep refreshing that, you will be able to keep in touch with all the matches that are happening. Log into the Quarantine Cup 2020 Steam group for potential postings for when matches will be played. And thank you very much for tuning in. We'll see you on the next cast.
Yes, sir. See you guys later.
Peace.
Peace.